So, welcome to the fifth lecture of this course on sustainable strategic management. In this lecture, we are going to discuss sustainability measurement and reporting. In particular, we are going to, I'm going to introduce you a specific framework that today is very popular in all over around the world, which is the Global Reporting Initiative. This is definitely today the most popular framework that is used by corporates to design their sustainability reports. So I will start by giving you some background on this organization and what are the criteria at the base of this framework for reporting. Now, basically, the history of the global reporting initiatives dates back to 1997, where when the Coalition for Environmentally Responsible Economies in Boston started promoting the idea, the concept of a universal framework to measure and report sustainability performance. In 1999, a partnership was created between CIRIS and the United Nations Environmental Program that basically started involving different stakeholders for creating a multi-stakeholder organization to drive the development of a framework for sustainability. Basically, the official creation of the Global Reporting Initiative happens in 2001, so more than 10 years ago. Basically, in 2000, the first version of the guidelines, of the GRI guidelines, was released, and basically after that a number of guidelines, updated guidelines for sustainability measurement and reporting have been released over the years. The latest version of these guidelines, what is called the G4, has been released in 2013. How the GRI is structured. Basically, the Global Reporting Initiative is a really body connecting different stakeholders of the sustainability discussion. So basically you have governance bodies, you have developers, different developers of sustainability frameworks, you have corporates that prepare sustainability reports, you have stakeholders that read the sustainability reports, and you have a variety of organizations that are, together with the GRI, developing new principles and standards for sustainability measurement and reporting. So let's start analyzing what are the key principles, the key criteria at the base of the GRI reporting framework. First of all, we should ask what is a sustainability report, because the GRI is a framework for developing sustainability reports. Basically, a sustainability report is a formal document where corporates do disclosure of their sustainability performance. Basically, the goal is to to develop sustainability reports that, of course, are transparent, report both positive and negative comments, and basically depict what is the sustainability journey the company is doing in order to improve its sustainability performance. Now, if you go on the GRI website, you will find a lot of resources. Basically, the framework is explained in two key documents. The first document is called the G4, the GRI Reporting Principles and Standard Disclosures. And the second document is called the GRI Implementation Manual. Let's go to analyze what are the principles to define the content of a report based on the GRI framework. They substantially identify four key principles that should drive the preparation of a sustainability report. These four principles are materiality, stakeholder inclusiveness, the sustainability context, and completeness. Now we are going to discuss these four principles one by one. What materiality means? Materiality means that the organization should disclose information and indicators that really reflect the organization's impacts and are relevant from a triple bottom line perspective. This means they should disclose impacts in reference to the economy, the environment, and social aspects. So, for example, just to give you to give an example to understand better. If you are in the last lecture we discussed the case of Colachem, that is a cement mining company. In that case, of course, material impacts include, for example, the use and consumption of energy, the modification of landscapes. If you are a bank, you have different aspects that are material in your business, and therefore you need to identify what are the impacts, because your sustainability report should stress information and disclosure of performance on areas of business that are really material from a sustainability perspective. What stakeholder inclusiveness means? This means that the sustainability report should really respond to the question, to the disclosure expectations of different stakeholders. This calls for actions of stakeholder engagement. This means you need to engage with your business stakeholders, including customers, including suppliers, including business partners, in order to understand what kind of sustainability information they want to understand. And therefore you can basically build this information into your sustainability reports. In this way, your sustainability reports become inclusive of the stakeholder view of the organization. Then the last Two principles is that the report should present the organization's performance in the wider context of sustainability. So it's very important to discuss all aspects of the business and define what is the context of your report. Are you presenting data related to a business unit, or are you presenting data that refer to the entire corporate? Or, for example, you are also presenting data that extend at the supply chain level. The context you are analyzing and the context that is the base of your disclosure activity should be clearly defined. The last principle is completeness. This means you should, in a sustainability report, disclose all relevant information in reference to the triple bottom line of business. This means both the economic, environmental, and social perspective of business. There are also 6 principles at the base of that basically should be taken into consideration and are basically used to define report quality. And these 6 principles are called balance, accuracy, clarity, comparability, timeliness, and reliability. What this means? This means that the report should be balanced. This means a consistent and comparable number of indicators should be presented for depicting the business and really describing the impacts on the triple bottom line of business. The information provided should be comparable, so sustainability reports are typically developed once per year. So if you present metrics in your sustainability report, you should be able to compare these metrics to your historical performance. Accuracy, this means indicators and metrics are properly defined and are accurate. Timeliness, so this time perspective of performance is of course important to guarantee the possibility of understanding how the company is improving over time, and also to allow benchmarking activity with competitors. Reports should be clear, and the information provided should be reliable. So everything, any information that goes inside a sustainability report, in theory, should be could be really easily be assessed by third parties. Basically, the disclosure, a sustainability report based on the GRI framework is really made by 2 major sections. There is a first part of the report that concerns what the GRI calls the general standard disclosure. Basically, this part of the report presents the strategy of the company, the organizational profile of the company, defines what activities are materials, what are the boundaries of the sustainability report, present what kind of processes have been put in place to engage stakeholders, the report profile, governance mechanisms, and ethics and integrity at the base of the sustainability report. After this introduction on general aspects, a second section should follow. This section is typically called the specific standard disclosure, and in this section the management approach to sustainability is clarified, and indicators on refer and the indicators refer to the triple bottom line of business are presented. Now, there is in the last version of the GRI guidelines a lot of stress on the materiality principle. This means company really should report information and performance only on aspects that are really material for the business, and can avoid to disclose information on other aspects of the business that are not materials. So you really want to focus the sustainability reports in areas of your business that generate impacts of any kind: environmental impacts, social impacts, or economic impacts. Basically, one of the indicators that it's mandatory to disclose in a sustainability report developed based on the GRI framework is the indicator called the G4 number 19, which is really the list of all material aspects identified in the process for defining the report content. So you should have a formal part of your sustainability report defining one by one what are your sustainability impacts and what impacts are more material for your business. Then the document, in the general standard disclosure, you have a number of topics you need to include in your sustainability report, and basically in the guidelines provided by the GRI, you have a very comprehensive list of all the information you need to disclose to develop a good sustainability report. They also provide a very comprehensive list of indicators related to different categories of economic, environmental, and social performance that you can disclose so as to develop a good quality sustainability report. Basically, you can decide to substantially develop your report at different levels. So basically, there are two levels. There is what is called the in accordance reporting, core reporting. This means you develop the basic indicators that really describe your business activities, or you can develop what is called an in accordance comprehensive report. This means you are disclosing all indicators that are suggested by the GRI. We are going to understand better this when we will analyze a sustainability report based on the concept of the GRI. It's also interesting that the GRI provides a number of guidelines for specific sectors. So, as we said before, sustainability is a topic that is industry specific. Different industries have different impacts, and because of this they need to measure and report on different aspects. For this reason, the GRI also offers industry-specific guidelines where specific performance indicators are proposed for reporting in these industries. Now, what I'm going to do is to show you how a sustainability report based on the GRI looks like, and before that, I'm going to present you a video that introduces to the sustainability report. The case study under analysis is the case of H&M.
We really want to make more sustainable fashion affordable and accessible to more and more people around our world, from the first idea to the choice of fabric, and also to encourage our customers how to care for their clothes. We offer both fashion and sustainable, not one or the other.
We are in the forefront of sustainability in the industry. We started to work with our Code of Conduct 1997, and today we are around 100 people working with CSR in the company. Out of these, approximately 70 are auditors, so we visit the factories daily and we do audits and have a very close dialogue with our suppliers to be able to drive improvements. Our business in H&M is depending on natural resources such as cotton and water, and these are big focus areas for us.
So in this current Conscious collection, we are focusing on party wear in more sustainable fabric as organic cotton, organic hemp, or recycled polyester, for example. Really beautiful party dresses with rich detailing and really worked through. So this is actually a dress that Kirsten Davis wore to a Hollywood event, a red carpet event early this spring, mainly made out of organic cotton. A really cool dress with a bare back and a beautiful embroidery at the front.
2010 we were the biggest user of organic cotton in the world, and 2011 our first Better Cotton orders hit our stores. So we are very active in the Better Cotton initiative, where we together with other stakeholders such as brands, farmers, and also, for example, WWF, where we educate farmers to use less water and chemicals in the cotton production, and also to increase their own profits. 2009 we started to work with UNICEF in an All for Children project in India. It's a 5-year project, and the aim is to improve the lives of children in the cotton cultivating area of Tamil Nadu in India. We want to make sure that the children go to school instead of work, and also to improve the access to health and nutritional care.
Well, I think today our customers are getting more and more aware and conscious about the environment and social issues and sustainability. So for us, it's a necessity to be sustainable and work in a sustainable and good way. This dress is made out of recycled polyester, and recycled polyester is mostly made out of plastic bottles, PET bottles. And last year we used the equivalence of 9.2 million plastic bottles.
So every year we release a sustainability report, and this is important to us to be transparent to all our different stakeholders and to show progress but also challenges that we face.
And I think for us it's really important that we are the best alternative. I want our customers to be able to enjoy fashion without feeling guilty. And our goal is to produce, transport and sell our garments in a sustainable way with care for people and environment.
So in the video, you had an introduction to the content of the sustainability report developed by H&M. Now I'm going to open the most recent sustainability report developed by H&M, and we are going to comment on the structure and content of this report. Okay, so let's now look at the report developed by H&M. So first of all, as you can see, the graphics of sustainability report will vary from company to company. So there is no indication on the graphical approach to the sustainability report. Then typically you have a table presenting the content of the sustainability report. Typically there is a section related to the CEO vision or message on sustainability, and this is one is actually a requirement that is coming from the GRI. This means is the view on sustainability from the executives of the company. In this case, you can see H&M discloses some specific performance indicators. So it's like an overview of the performance, including, for example, the governance information, where they show they have a board that is made composed for 50% by women. Their achievement on energy saving, on water used in the production, and so on. We keep moving in the documents. They describe the impacts and challenges along their value chain. As you can imagine, they have a global value chain. So this represents the complexity of developing a strategy based on sustainability. They explain the organization they have for sustainability, so how the team is organized, what is the role of executives, how they involve experts in their business to address sustainability projects. Partnerships they implemented in order to develop sustainability projects, and then they basically present a very clear report, a very clear overview of the performance on certain indicators, on certain performance indicators. So basically, there is clear information on deadlines they have for the specific projects and what is the status of the project. Let me move forward. So in the case of H&M, of course, an important immaterial aspect of sustainability is the products and materials they use. So there is a lot of disclosure and a lot of attention on using materials that are sustainable, and they present data on how they are increasing the use of sustainable materials. Basically, the same is for letters they use in their products and the way they manufacture the products. There is information on activities and actions H&M has developed for involving, engaging stakeholders, including, for example, customers, employees. So there is this kind of information. Again, this is a requirement coming from the GRI framework. They also present, what kind of a governance mechanisms, rewarding systems they established in order to promote sustainability in the supply chain. This means sustainability of suppliers and partners. And again, they present a very clear disclosure of what kind of projects they are developing, what are the goals of these projects, the deadline, and the status of these projects. Specific section dedicated to supply chain management. This is of course an important part of their sustainability report, because most of their impacts are generated at the supply chain level, not at the corporate level. It's also interesting to note how they address social problems. So, for example, they do surveys to assess how suppliers are happy to work with H&M. So basically there is a variety of metrics that are used in order to measure sustainability. They also do a lot of training programs. So basically they do supplier development activity in relation to sustainability. And of course they measure the supplier performance. They also, address specifically another problem that is very material in the fashion industry, which is the cost of labor in developing countries where they operate, and again they present and disclose information on what kind of approaches they have to manage this problem, and how they work with different stakeholders in order to solve the problem and manage the problem. Industrial relations. Again, this is about presenting the business model they have at the base of their industrial system, and how this is linked to their sustainability, their ethical approach. This is of course important. So, for example, governance mechanisms, how they take care of human rights, and in general their impact and contribution to society. As part of these parameters, you also have indicators related to anti-corruption. Again, this is a set of indicators that is coming from guidelines developed by the GRI. The role of employers, what they do with employers in order to train them, and really to develop a safe and good workplace where sustainability is a part of the culture. Big section on the report is dedicated to human rights, diversity and equality. Again, these indicators, this disclosure is a part of the GRI guidelines. This is what's interesting. We discussed in previous lectures how corporates try to change their value chains and create sustainable value chains. And you will recall that the concept of a sustainable value chain substantially means rethinking all processes in a way to make them more sustainable. Marketing is a common process inside an organization. As you can imagine, is a big process in the companies that are in the fashion industry. So, for example, H&M in the sustainability reports reports what kind of activities they do in order to limit the impacts of the marketing activity. So there is a section in the sustainability report dedicated to responsible marketing. Then there is an explicit declaration of their commitment to limit climate changes, and therefore what they try to do in order to reduce energy consumption, in order to use renewable energies, and in order to use sustainable materials. There is also a section dedicated to emissions, carbon emissions. Again, this is very clear. There is, a clear disclosure of what is the total of current emissions and what they are planning to do in order to reduce carbon emissions related to their business operations. And this is clarified not only in reference to the value chain, but also in reference to the global supply chain they have. Last, again, as we discussed, there is an important discussion, an important disclosure on their reuse and recycle practices. As we said, these are new processes that today are part of value creation of companies, and of course in the case of H&M, recycling and reusing are important processes in the development, in the creation of new products. Again, they disclose performance indicators related to this. There is a specific reference to another concept we touched previously, which is the concept of closed-loop supply chains. This means the reverse logistics you need in order to recover products, reuse and recycle materials that you use for the development and manufacturing of new products. In their sustainability report, there is a clear explanation of what they did in order to establish this closed-loop supply chain. Wastes, there is a discussion concerning wastes and what they do in order to reduce wastes and in order to recycle. And generally speaking, they do of natural resources, and basically their approach to the use of resources in a responsible way. There is also a section of the document dedicated to the impact they have on water resources. Water is largely used in the fashion industry in manufacturing processes, so they also disclose information on what is their performance on water and their commitment to reduce the use of water in the supply chain. Another section is dedicated to the disclosure of information related to the use of chemicals in their products. As you can understand, the use of chemicals create environmental impacts, so they also report on this aspect of the business. And last, they also present very clearly what is their investment plan in developing their sustainability strategy. So basically, sustainability calls for investments, and here they report what they are doing and what they are planning to do in order to develop and implement sustainability projects they identified. They also report on other social activities they have. For example, they created a foundation for supporting a variety of NGOs in developing countries. Again, this is, part of the triple bottom line of business, the impact and contribution that a business activity has on society. Again, another requirement coming from the GRI principles is how the report is designed and developed. As you can see here, there is a specific reference to the Global Reporting Initiative. They report that the report is prepared in accordance with the GRI G4 Sustainability Reporting Guidelines. So this means the indicators the indicators suggested by the GRI are used, and they also report that they used the specific footwear sector supplements provided by the GRI. They also present a materiality matrix where they identify materiality aspects of their business and basically provide additional information on how stakeholders have been engaged in this reporting process. So this is, is a good example of how a sustainability report looks like, and in particular how a sustainability report based on the GRI framework looks like. So now we move forward the rest of the discussion. I wanted to present you some highlights related to the diffusion of the Global Reporting Initiative in the last years. First of all, I want to show you a video where the American director of the GRI introduces the value of GRI reporting.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Ryan, coming to you from the EHS Management Forum in Tucson. I'm standing here with Mike Wallace, Director of Focal Point USA, part of the Global Reporting Initiative. Mike, earlier this year, Focal Point USA launched at the New York Stock Exchange. How is this event significant in the history, or the evolution rather, of corporate sustainability reporting?
Well, Elizabeth, sustainability has been around for quite a long time, and GRI has been around for more than a dozen years. It was actually created and started in Boston, but moved overseas. And because of that, we just haven't had as much attention here in the U.S. as we've gotten in other parts of the world. The market has matured tremendously in probably the last 3 to 5 years. We're seeing a lot of financial players involved in this game now, if you will, and looking at these issues. And everyone knows about Dow Jones Sustainability Index and FTSE for Good and these various ratings and rankings that are out there. But when we started to head back to the U.S. to put this office in place, we had a really interesting connection to the New York Stock Exchange. And they themselves were working on their second GRI report themselves. And as an entity who lists 8,000 companies and has listing requirements for those companies, it's interesting to think about what they might be thinking of for the future of listing requirements. So when we talked to them about hosting us and throwing this party for us, and they said yes, it was a huge win for GRI, but it's a huge win for the sustainability effort in general, because anyone that's out there trying to make the business case to be able to point to that event and to point the GRI being launched at that event here in the U.S., it's a big signal to the market that this is here to stay. Sustainability does make business sense, and if the New York Stock Exchange is getting on board, what does it mean for the future of all of us?
Every year, EHS managers receive dozens of requests for ESG data. How is GRI different?
Well, GRI is different in that I think the The original inception of GRI was meant to standardize the way all organizations talk about sustainability, and not just the energy, waste, and water piece, much broader than just the E, if you will. As that evolved over the last 12 to 15 years, more and more people are getting interested in this issue, and like people love to make lists of the top companies and the bottom companies. Look at the Fortune Most Admired. Even Fortune Most Admired has a CSR component to it. So we see literally hundreds of rankings and ratings and listings that are out there. A couple of them just popped over the last couple of weeks. GRI is different in that it was meant to be the kind of end-all be-all for reporting, for a company to be able to address all of the common things that pertain to sustainability. It's different in that it was created by companies and nonprofits and stakeholders from all over the world sitting together and discussing what does sustainability mean and what should people report on when they do report. Rankings and ratings and listings come in and pick and choose certain things that they're most interested in, or their constituents or end users are interested in. So GRI has actually benefited most of these ratings firms that are out there because we've been pulling data in a very standardized way for a dozen years. And most ratings firms will tell you that. They'll admit that GRI has been very helpful to their business model. But many ratings firms have their own little black box where they have little secret ways of doing things. Maybe they have some proprietary data they collect, or maybe they send a survey out to someone and collect some information, or maybe they just have a different way of looking at things and they've been able to come up with their own approach to looking at these issues. GRI should be a solution for most companies. It is a way that you can send a story to a ratings firm and say, look, here's the majority of my story. Please take from this, and I'll try and fill in some of the blanks after you've done your homework.
Yesterday we heard from Andrew Winston that compliance in this new era is less about meeting government regulations as it is meeting stakeholder expectations. To what extent is transparency about meeting stakeholder expectations, or to what extent are there actual business benefits that companies can derive from disclosing this information?
We see and hear a variety of anecdotal stories from companies directly about the business benefit of looking at these issues and looking at it very holistically. The GRI guidelines, like I said, they cover a lot of different issues. For U.S. companies moving outside of the environmental area and into the human rights and supply chain and some of the other labor issues, it gets a little touchy for some U.S. companies. But we hear repeatedly that going through this process, going in and digging into the various silos of a company and getting this information and extracting it, really makes a company think more holistically about their overall performance and put things into a different story. When it comes to stakeholders, most definitely. I mean, it's one thing to respond to a regulation, and of course, right now in this economy and in this political climate, there's not going to be a lot of room for regulation right now. But we've had some amazing things happen just last week. Microsoft announced themselves that they want vendors to produce a sustainability report. That means they're asking suppliers, will you please produce a sustainability report? And in the underlying text of that same statement was, and we would prefer it to be a GRI report. On Friday, the GSA, General Services Administration, the largest procurement body in the world, announced on their website that they're doing an internal GRI training. And in that announcement, it talks about the fact that they themselves are going to do a GRI report and that they're looking at how these issues relate to the supply chain that they manage. It's the world's largest supply chain. If you think Walmart was amazing, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Wow, this sounds really interesting. I look forward to hearing more about that.
Great.
Thanks very much for taking the time to stop by.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Here you launch the video. So now let me introduce you some valuable resources you can use to expand your knowledge on sustainability and on measurement and reporting issues and on the GRI. Basically, the GRI a couple of years ago launched what they call the Sustainability Disclosure Database. It's basically a repository online where all sustainability reports that are GRI based are uploaded, and you can basically search these reports based on the geography of the companies, based on the industry of the companies, and based on the year of development. So this is a very interesting database that you can use for researches that are sustainability related. Also, let me give you some information on how the GRI is diffusing all over the world. So basically, in terms of regions, North America is growing a lot, together with African countries. Europe in the last years is growing less because the GRI originates in Europe. So at the beginning, many companies in Europe have engaged with sustainability reporting. So the majority of reports are today in Europe, but there is a growing amount of reports coming from the US and African countries. It's also interesting to note that some industries have engaged more in this practice of sustainability reporting. This is particularly true, for example, for the financial sector, for the energy sector, utilities, food and beverage, mining, chemicals, and telecommunication companies, for example. And the reason at the base of this evidence is the fact that in these industries there is a strong call for transparency and sustainability. So sustainability reporting is really pushed by customers, is really pushed by stakeholders of the industry. It's also interesting to note that small and medium enterprises are starting reporting on sustainability, and there is evidence both in Europe and the US that the number of small and medium enterprises producing sustainability reports is growing significantly over time. Something I also wanted to note, to let you know, is that of course the GRI is a popular framework, but is not the unique framework for reporting. So some companies develop their own reporting templates that are not necessarily based on the GRI framework. What is important is, of course, to maintain, the quality of the disclosure, and to maintain the materiality principles that is a very well recognized, acknowledged principle. Here, I reported the case of the case study of Caterpillar. Caterpillar has a very good, very well organized and clear sustainability report, which is not based on the framework of the GRI, but is based on an internal reporting template they developed. I'm going to show you now the video introducing the sustainability report, and then by clicking on the slides you can access the sustainability report, the latest sustainability report from Caterpillar, and basically go over the content and judge the quality by yourself.
I hear stories every day about sustainability, and I think the fact that there is such a pull from our employee base and our customer base especially, that it's a natural that it will have to be in the strategy. And if you look at the kinds of things we're investing in, and the one I'm most proud of, this MWM acquisition that we announced last year, natural gas engines, perfectly into our strategy of a business we want to be in. And oh, by the way, look what it does for sustainability. It's great. I suspect if you took every one of our initiatives and put a different hat on and looked at it through a sustainability lens, you'd find something that's a pretty good story. New product development. When we come out with a Tier 4 engine, for example, think about the NOx and particulates that will be saved from the environment. That alone is a huge thing. Now, we've spent billions of dollars getting there, but think of the impact on the planet as a result of that. It's a pretty positive story and a great one. Another one of our key initiatives in 2011 is, of course, the closing and integration of Bucyrus. And this is a great opportunity for us around sustainability. It may not look that way to many from the outside, but you know, when you think about the world wanting what we have, light switches, hair dryers, television sets, cell phones, electricity is going to come to them one form or another. We need to be a player in the way in which coal is used, the image that it has, how we get it to a cleaner state, how we're efficient and how we extract it. All those things that go into the use of coal, which today is by far the cheapest way to get electricity, and people without power on the world are going to want electricity. We can influence that debate. Think about our remanufacturing business. I can't recall the pounds of parts we've recycled, but just think about the impact on the planet from 30 years ago before we did that, where we'd throw the fuel pump away and get a new fuel pump, which brought all the natural resources with it. Now we take that fuel pump, we remake it, we send it back, and maybe only less than half of it's new. Think about how much that's extended the life and sustainability of the resources we have. There's nothing about sustainable development that is not good for Caterpillar. Whether it's remanufacturing our product that uses less raw materials because we've reused something, whether it's grading a parking lot once because we're using our GPS through AccuGrade technology, or as simple as recycling plastic bottles in our offices. So there's nothing I can think of that's not good for this company in some way, form, or fashion. The pull from our customer base, if we really listen to customers, will be more than we need to push sustainability beyond where we ever thought we could take it. That pull from customers is enormous. And when you talk to big customers and small today, they want us to help them be sustainable, more efficient, less fuel, less oil. Help me use less resources because I'm under pressure from my customers, or I'm under pressure from regulators, or whatever it may be. I've got to be more efficient, be more sustainable. Help me do that. Every day that pull is there from customers. That's the best result we can have, is when customers want something from us. We'll respond to that.